out, I guess.
Yes, and she did post one of them. She couldn't find the one that we started late yet, but she posted the other one. So
Okay, this is the 9-4. I think I might have just put it in the wrong spot or something. But
okay.
according to the cloud, we're done. All right. Let me get a can of Coke just in case. Do you know anything about this nationals, online nationals in a couple of weeks?
No.
All right.
Okay, so if you can post the hand since everybody's in now.
Okay. Let me set up and I'll remove. Come on, you.
And I can see which hands we're going over.
Let's get rid of you. And add the files. Okay. Do you think we're ready to go, Kathy?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Mike Roberts. I'll be going over a few of the hands that you just finished playing. This was it wasn't the original plan, but on the schedule, this was a continuation of Tuesday's lecture. Basically, we're going to go over unusual to-no trump a little more, with a little more depth. Um, Still the basic idea. So if you haven't run across it before, and if you missed Tuesday's lecture, unusual to-no trump occurs when the opponents open one of a suit and you jump to two-no trump in the next hand. If they've opened one of a major, this shows both minors. If they've opened one of a minor, the majority way of treating it is you have hearts and the other minor suit. Um, this is known as the two lowest unbid suits. Some people just play it's always minors, but that's a minority treatment. So we're going to go over four of the boards and just some points I'd like to make, how to play it, how to defend against it. A couple of the hands are those, and situations that people think that it applies, but it doesn't apply. That one's going to be a tricky one. But we'll start with board number two. If you have any questions while the lecture's going on, the best way to do something is to post your comment in chat and it'll pop up. I'll see it and hopefully I'll be able to answer your question. I just posted a write-up of the four hands with some commentary. That's there. I'll post it again at the end of the lecture just in case it's missed. Okay, thank you. To start off with, we're going to do board number two. So East is the opening bidder. They have 14 points and a good 5-card suit. This isn't quite enough to open a no trump. Um, and we will open a spade. South is about right for a 2-no trump overcall. I'm a little wary of doing it because of the vulnerability. You're probably going to end up defending when you bid an unusual 2-no trump. And when you're vulnerable and they're not, that can become expensive at times. But nonetheless, you've still got 10 points, two decentish 5-card suits. And I'm going to have South bid 2-no trump there. That shows the minors. At least 10 cards in the minors, almost always 5-5, maybe 6-5, maybe even better, but 5-5, don't do it on 5-4. West wants to bid. Traditionally in competition, a new suit by responder is a forcing call. If it went one spade and let's just undo this. If they went one spade and they overcalled two clubs, two hearts would be a forcing bid. A new suit by responder as an unpassed hand should be a forcing call. When the opponents use an unusual 2-no trump, they free up three of each of the minors to use as Q bids. And you don't want to delay acting because the opponents can preempt you a lot because they if when they have a big minor suit fit. If you start out with, sorry, 2-no trump. If you start out passing the west hand, planning on coming back in later, the problem is that they might have a huge fit and it goes five clubs pass pass before you've had a chance to say anything. It's not a good idea to pass over the unusual no trump. They can use their knowledge of the distribution to jam your auction before you can show what you want. So you can't bid. Passing isn't a good idea. Three hearts normally would be natural and forcing, but because you've got these Q bids available, what a common treatment is called unusual versus unusual. It's a little more difficult to play than just the unusual 2-no trump, but it's not too difficult. The way the system works is after your partner opens one of a major and they overcall 2-no trump, clubs says I've got a good heart bid, and diamond says I've got a good spade bid. Whether that's your own suit or whether that's a raise, it depends on what partner opens. But the advantage of you doing that is because you use three clubs and three diamonds as the really big hands, now three hearts and three spades are both limited. So on this hand, when they overcall 2-no trump, you can bid three of the other major, and that is a non-forcing bid. I think the best description of it is it's about the same strength as a same descript. It's going to look like a weak two bid. Uh, Almost always six cards in the suit. If it's five, it's going to be really good because you don't anticipate splits being very good. And I'd say about 7 to 11 points. But it isn't forcing, is the important thing. If you had the same hand, say instead of two small clubs, you had ace-x of clubs, so that you had 13 points. Now you want to bid three hearts, forcing. The way you do that is you bid three clubs. Clubs equals hearts. So three clubs says, I've got at least 11 points and some hearts. And a partner can sort of decide what they want to do over that. But the big advantage of 2-no trumpet now is you can bid three of a new suit and have it be non-forcing because you've got an extra Q bid available. So after one heart, 2-no trump, this hand can safely bid three hearts. North, they're vulnerable versus not, and they only have three card support for partners minor. So although 5/5s tend to play pretty well, you don't want to bid at the four level unless you've got a nine card fit, unless there's some exceptional hand. North should say pass. This one, it's 14 points, but given that South has shown cards in diamonds and clubs, the Queen of Clubs and the King of Diamonds probably aren't pulling their full weight. So definitely, I think that's a pass of three hearts. And South has said what they need to say. So this is the auction that I projected and wrote up. But it depends on playing three hearts as non-forcing. If you don't, I don't think this is good enough to bid three hearts right over 2-no trump. If partner has to bid, you're just going to end up going down when you don't have to. And passing is a little bit dangerous. If you don't play this unusual versus unusual system, I would grit my teeth and pass rather than overbid with three hearts. Sorry, I'll just undo it a bit. So, 2-no trump. If you can't bid three hearts, pass. North fortunately only bids three clubs, pass, pass, and now you can back in with three hearts. So on this hand, it's okay. You got off to the same description. But if North had done something more than bid just at three clubs, you'd be uncomfortable, very uncomfortable, introducing this new suit at the next level. It's better to introduce your suit as quickly as possible, unless you're significantly overbidding. So anyway, back to the actual hand because the play is somewhat interesting. North leads the ace of clubs. We lead the ace from ace king. Um, I'll get to an exception later in the bit. So ace of clubs, they discourage. Uh, I'm gonna say that they lead the king of clubs next, just because it brings up an interesting point. That's probably safe. South probably doesn't have six clubs for the opening bit. And now they shift to the nine of diamonds. Declarer can't guess right, so they play low. We win the queen. Now, the first question is, does partner have a Doubleton club or do they have, who has the last club? Is it North or is it West? And can we tell? Well, there is a nice defensive carding agreement that helps you decide in these situations. We normally lead the ace from ace king, but if we have exactly two cards, the ace king Doubleton, then we start with the king. Partner will assume we have king queen or we've led from king X or something. But then when we continue with the ace, that says I've got a Doubleton in the suit because I led the wrong card. So this helps on this kind of hand. When partner plays the ace and then the king, you'll know that they don't have ace king Doubleton because they would have played the king and then the ace. It's a very nice system. Don't do it with other honor combinations. It it sounds like a good idea that you, oh, hey, if I can do that with ace king, how about I do that with king queen Doubleton? Nice in theory, but in practical effect, what happens is that you lose the lead early. Partner is very confused about what's going on. And by the time you iron out that you've led the queen from king queen, it's too late. Partner's done something else. So it's pretty safe to do it from ace king because you're probably going to be cashing the other honor right away. But don't do it from lower honors. Just from ace king, you reverse the order when you have a doubleton. So given that North has shown three clubs by not starting with the king, now we win the queen of diamonds. We play the ace. West should try false carding with the jack just to muddy the waters. Um, but again, South knows that North doesn't have a Doubleton club. They might have a Doubleton diamond. So let's play a diamond, and that works in this case. We rough the diamond. We can try a spade, but the declarer should win the ace, and they should try drawing a couple of rounds of trumps ending in dummy first. And then pitch their spade loser away on the king of clubs. Now they just make sure that when you rough a spade, you rough it high just to be safe. You draw the last trump, and you go down one. Hang on, wait, three. There we are. Okay, so that was down one. If you look at the play in clubs, it actually plays really well. If North South end up playing in clubs, which I think that most people would end up playing in hearts with the East-West hand. I think if South bid 2-0 Trump and you didn't have a good system there, I think momentum might carry you to four hearts, which should be okay because you still only go down two, and it's tough for anybody to say double. In clubs, the losers. Oh yeah, Nina.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
you were talking about bidding. When I bid two no trumps,
Hmm.
my partner knows that I have five diamonds and five clubs.
Right.
So since he had three clubs, he just bid four clubs.
Bid four clubs. That's okay.
That's okay.
I would
Oh,
like to have four cards in clubs before I committed to the four level.
okay.
But you're right, the 5-5 plays opposite when partner's 5-5, it plays fairly well when the splits are nice. So I can't quarrel too much with four clubs. I wouldn't do it, but having said that, it works out very well on this hand because all the finesses are on. You need so four clubs is not a bad bid by any means. If you do play in clubs, I'm just going to go over that. So I didn't want to say four clubs was wrong. Four clubs is fine. I think North
Okay.
should pass, but I'm not.
Sure.
certainly with ace
Thanks.
king, it's not a bad bid at all. In if north south are playing in clubs, they have to lose the queen of clubs, they have to lose the ace of spades, they have to lose the ace of hearts. They have to time everything really well. They have to lead towards the king of spades if the defense doesn't cash the ace of spades themselves, and they have to take a finesse in diamonds, and they have to rough the diamond to set one up. It's all doable, but let's see how the play goes. This is, hang on. Ah, dang it. Okay, hang on. Let me just do this again. No. Okay. Why are we not doing this? Okay. So why aren't you? There we go. Okay, sorry. Say that the defense got off to the best possible defense, I think. So one spade, two no trump, three hearts, and we're gonna have north bid four clubs now. That should end the auction. If they go ace of hearts, this hand can signal with the king to say, I've got all these honors in hearts. And let's continue with another heart. To make this, you have to pretty much do this exactly this way. You have to ruff the heart, use one entry to play a diamond to the queen. Ruff a diamond. That sets up the suit. Great. And now you can actually afford the king of clubs here. And then we play a spade towards the king. The defense can now just take the ace of spades. They can take the queen of clubs. And then that's it, though. So if, sorry, Nina, when your partner bid four clubs, did that end the auction? Or if it
Yes.
did and your partner made it, good for them. That's a good job making four clubs. I would think mostly people will mistime the play somehow, and the four clubs down one is probably what I'd expect. And given that your decent defense will beat three hearts, it doesn't quite work out. But four clubs is makeable. So if they bid and made four clubs, good for them. Um, my main point on this one was just to show the ability to bid the other major and not create a forcing situation that'll get you too high. Use those Q bids to show the forcing hands, and then the other ones will show the weaker raises, bidding the majors directly. Okay on that one? All right, let's go on to the next one. Okay, this one I admit was a trick. But this is one that people who know, who've just learned unusual to know Trump, they always like to use it here and they shouldn't. So this was a bit of a trap hand, especially because you knew the topic was unusual to know Trump. South is pretty classic for a weak two in spades. It's not a great suit, it's not a great hand, but you're vulnerable versus not in first seat. You've got a decent six card suit. Two spades is fine. You would like to be able to bid two no trump to show both minors here. But that's not what two no trump shows. Two no trump over a weak two bid should show a similar hand to as if they'd opened one spade and we'd overcalled one no trump. It's maybe a little bit stronger because we're at the two level, but so about 16 to 19 points, you'll have a stopper in spades and you'll have a balanced hand. But it's a natural no trump overcall. It, with some exceptions, I don't want to say always, but usually it needs to be a jump to two no trump for it to be considered unusual no trump. So you cannot bid two no trump here because partner will think you have 16 to 19 balanced. They won't be showing preference to the minor. It doesn't show this hand. So you have to This is too big a hand to pass. You can't bid two no trump to show the minors. So you have to show one of your suits. Traditionally, the rule that is almost without exception is when you're 5-5, bid the higher of your two suits. You can always bid the lower suit the second time, and then partner can prefer to the first suit without raising the level. So if you bid three diamonds here, there's going to be some auctions where you might need to back in with clubs, and then partner can go to diamonds if they prefer diamonds to clubs. On this auction, they bid three diamonds. North has this monstrous heart suit, and they've got an ace, and they've got four trumps. They should bid four spades. Um, Whether they're doing this just because they have four trumps and it's the law of total tricks, that's fine. If they're doing it because they've got not very many losers and partners open to week two, that's fine too. And nobody knows which it is when they bid four spades. It might be a weak hand with only four spades. But since South has already described their hand, North can keep them in the dark while they're keeping East West in the dark, because North is in command once their partner opens a weak two bid. After three diamonds, North bids four spades. East has three card support, but a truly horrible hand. So pass, pass. At different vulnerabilities, I might back in with five clubs, but Vol versus not, there are too many losers. You just pass it out. So how should the defense go on this one? Well, we lead the ace of diamonds, three, and here's the two. So West knows that East doesn't have a doubleton diamond because they would have started with a high-low. So there's probably no rush to cash the king of diamonds. So the best defense is to shift to a club. You're trying to set up your suit before declarer knocks out your tricks on defense before the declarer knocks out your ace of spades and runs all of these hearts. Uh, I'll try it with just a low club, and I'll go over what you should do if you catch the king of diamonds first. So if you play a low club, declarer has to win the ace. And now declarer has to do some thinking here. If they just play a spade somewhat mechanically, now the defense can cash their tricks right away. They can cash both of their kings. And that's down one. Declare has to hope for a little bit of luck here. So let's go back to here. So after they've won the ace of clubs, they can sort of see if they play a spade, unless somebody ducks by mistake, the defense is just going to cash their ace of spades and their two minor suit kings. But they've got a decent chance of pitching a loser on hearts before they get in. If hearts are 3-3, then you're home free. If not, you might get lucky, like in this case, where the person who only had two hearts. Now you want to pitch a club here because the third diamond can get roughed. Sorry, I guess you can't see me pointing at the screen, but you need to pitch a club. Fortunately, on this hand, the person who only had two hearts has to rough with their ace of spades. And then they probably try to cash the king of diamonds is safer. And then they try the king of clubs, but it's too late, and declare can claim. So my big point with respect to the two no trump overcall is over a week two bid. Two no trump is not an unusual two no trump. It's a natural no trump overcall. That's one that many people, including some very good players, get wrong the first time. The reason is if you have the 16 to 19 point hand, if you don't have that available to bid a natural two no trump, you have to start with double, and then partner will bid three of a suit, and then you have to bid three no. And that's probably not going to work if you're 16 and your partner has about 6 points, which you're entitled to expect. So you need that 2-no trump bid as a natural bid. Whereas over one of a suit, you don't need 2-no trump as a natural overcall because you can double bid no trump later and still stay at a low enough level. Big point is over a week 2-no trump is natural, not unusual. And the defense was sort of not clear cut. The big thing is West had to shift to clubs fairly early. And then Declare had to recognize that they can't just go after trumps. If West, sorry, I'll just go back a little bit. If West made the reasonable decision to, well, let's try the King of Diamonds before we play a club. Now Declare doesn't have to rely on hearts anymore. The better choice, if they trust East to have 3 diamonds because they didn't high roll, is to cross to their hand with the 10 of hearts and then pitch the club away on the Queen of Diamonds. Now you can knock out the trump and dummy will be good after that. That's what happens if the defense sets up South's Queen of Diamonds. If they didn't do that, Declare needs to go after hearts by themselves when they have to rough with a singleton ace, which is a little fortunate, but sometimes you need to be lucky, and this is one of them. Any questions on that one? Poor East. East hasn't had very many high cards so far. All right. Let's head on to the next one. So this was actually one, I don't think I got the hand exactly right, but I played in a sectional a couple of weeks ago, and this was a hand slightly tweaked, but this was a hand that came up. The West hand has 17 high card only, but they have 8 tricks and spades and the ace of diamonds, and what we call a half a trick with the king of hearts. They're not really afraid of one spade getting passed out, but a better hand to start describing the playing strength of this hand is to start with 2 clubs. That's 100% legal. If you're within a trick of game and you have at least 14 high card, it's 100% legal. But if, like, this ace of diamonds was a small diamond, even though you had 8.5 tricks, you don't have 14 high card. So you need legally, you need both 14 high card and to be within a trick of game to open 2 clubs. Or you can have any hand with 20 high card, but those are sort of the minimum. You absolutely have to have 14. So over 2 clubs, that's a strong bid. So you could bid 2-no trump, and that would be unusual. But the opponents are going to be bidding to 4 of a major, and I wanted to say that a jump to 4-no trump is also an unusual no trump. It's the same kind of thing. The only thing is you're going to have a lot more distribution than you do for a 2-no trump. When they open 2 clubs, they're almost certainly going to get to 4 of a major. So I can't say that 2-no trump is wrong, but I like 4-no trump, which means the same thing as 2-no trump. It's still the minors, but it robs them of all the room at the 4 level. They're almost certainly, if West is open 2 clubs on a hand like this, they're going to have to bid at the 5 level without really knowing what's going on. A little bit dangerous, but a jump to 4-no trump is very also unusual no trump. So East, it depends. This one really depends on system. Pass or double, but we'll say pass. The South hand, their partner said they've got a lot of cards in the minors, but we've got this great heart suit, and it's got the queen and the jack and the 10. If we play in diamonds, we're gonna have to worry about what to do with all of North's clubs. But if we play in hearts, now we're okay. The diamonds will fit with partner. We've got the 1 club loser and the 1 spade loser, but hearts will probably play better than diamonds. Not guaranteed, But my partner bid 5 hearts, and I think she's right. Um, and then the West hand is committed. They have to bid 5 spades. Um, and that probably should end the auction. East is happy that they have an ace, but it's a pressure situation. And in a pressure situation, you want to give partner a little leeway. So pass. This one's tough, but you've pushed them to the 5 level. A nice philosophy when you've made the bids that have jammed them to a particular level, consider yourself satisfied that you've done so. If you bid 6 hearts, you're just giving them like a fielder's choice, to use a baseball analogy. They can either double and try and set you, or they can bid to 6 spades. But they've got the choice now, whereas you forced them already to make a choice with 5 spades. So I'd pass out 5 spades. So we're defending 5 spades. What do we lead from the north hand? Well, they've got nice control in diamonds and nice control in clubs. If my partner had bid 5 diamonds instead of 5 hearts, I probably would have led the queen of diamonds, lead the suit that my partner's raised. But here, 9 of hearts is a very attractive lead. We win the ace, and let's have West play low. Um, we South can count. They've got 8 hearts. Dummy started with 2. They each play 1, so the only heart outstanding is the king. And we know that if partner had king X of hearts, they would have started with the king. So declare has the king of hearts. Let's hopefully give our partner a ruff. There's a possibility partner's void and trumps on this auction. But on this hand, that doesn't happen. Partner ruffs a heart. And then they might as well come back the king of clubs. Doesn't really matter. And in the course of time, um, declare will lose a club trick and go down 1. So the big advantage of 4-no trump here is that it pushed them to the 5 level right away. If they just bid 2-no trump, they'd only bid 4 hearts, then let's try doing that again. Well, why does it not do this for me? Sorry, guys. Okay, there we go. Without a 4-no trump bid, like let's say that on the assumption that West opened 2 clubs and we just bid 2-no trump or 3 diamonds or something like that, this hand had probably bid 4 hearts, 4 spades, pass, 5 hearts. Now you can sort of see that East West are in a better position. They'll still bid 5 spades, but West has sort of gotten their hand off their chest with their 4 spade bid. Um, my guess is it would go past 5 spades. But the advantage of the 4-no trump bid is it pushed them so high that they got to the 5 level before they had any real idea what was going on. It's a bit like throwing up a ball way up in the air and seeing on which side of the net it fell. But 4-no trump as a big unusual no trump bid can be useful when they've shown strong hands, especially if they've shown strong hands with no suit, because you rob them of the room before they can show their suit. So this was just an advanced version of an unusual no trump, is using a 4-no trump for it. Okay, this one was a bit of a weird one, I admit, but I liked the 4-no trump bid so much. I sort of wanted to run that across. Again, it needs to be a big jump, and it needs to be. It works out best when it's against strong bids. But if it goes 1 heart, 1 spade, 4-no trump, for example, that's still minors as well. It's just a lot more distribution than a 2-no trump bid. Okay. All right, guys, we're going to go on to our last one. So this is one where it's another one where I sort of wanted to discuss how you defend against when the opponents use an unusual 2-no trump. So frequently, usually when and don't one spade and they overcall two diamonds, doubles here are negative doubles. A double by North would show four hearts and say at least 9 points and deny spade support. Um, but over a 2-no trump bid, you can use the, there's a couple of systems that do it, but most people don't use negative doubles. They like to, because the West hand is so well defined, they like to play double as starting a penalty sequence. Double says, I'm interested in penalizing at least one of the minors. If you have a really distributional hand, you don't have to sit for it. But I've got some points. I don't have spade support. Because I didn't use one of the cubids, I probably don't have 5 or 6 hearts. So double is penalty. And once they've used unusual 2-no trump, it's a pretty good rule to just say all of our doubles are penalties. So we start with a double. East bids 3 diamonds because they have a strong preference for diamonds over clubs. South might be tempted to bid 3 hearts here, but it's sort of overruling partner's request. Partner said, I'm interested in doubling 3 diamonds. Just because I have 4 cards in hearts, that isn't a good enough reason to get us off of the doubling track. If I'm, we still want to, our first priority is, should we be doubling this? You don't quite have enough to overrule partner. If you were 5-5 in the majors, that would be an okay 3 heart call. But with 5-4, you don't want to bid 3 hearts. Let's see what partner has to say. Partner might not say double. If they don't, we might be able to back in with hearts. Pass. But on this hand, North should be pretty happy to say double. All of these cards in the minors are great. Um, as I've said throughout this lecture and throughout Tuesday's lecture, when the opponents have used the unusual 2-no trump, that usually means that when you play the contract, bad breaks are going to happen. Um, so you want to be a little more conservative when you're declaring, because, like, as you can see with this heart suit, for example, King Queen fourth opposite Jack third will take 3 tricks about 40% of the time. But when there's an unusual 2-no trump, that percentage goes way down. They're going to split 4-2 or 5-1 50 to 60% of the time, or 60 to 70% of the time. So I would reopen with a double. Again, that's still penalties. South still doesn't have anything that interesting, and they say pass. What should we lead? This is true, especially against unusual 2-no trump, but against any situations where they've shown 2 suitors. They've shown, and on one hand shown 2 suits, and the other one has taken a solid preference to one of the suits. You want to try and stop them roughing the other suit as best you can. So if it was just a basic auction and you said, what would I lead against 3 diamonds? The King of Hearts is a pretty normal lead. But when they've shown their 2 suits, this is an auction you like to lead trumps against, because you prevent them from roughing clubs. You don't know whether they're going to do that or not, but it's a good idea. Uh, you've got the high cards in the majors, so it's not very likely that they'll be able to pitch one of these minor suit sorry, pitch one of West's major suit cards. You've probably got those tricks in the bag. So let's concentrate on stopping them from roughing clubs. So you play the 2 of diamonds. North wins the queen. You want to win the queen and not the king, so the partner knows you have the king when the queen holds. Now they want to get South back in. This is very double. The double dummy way is to lead a spade, this low spade that gets South in while well, we still have communicate. That's sort of double dummy. I think a heart back is probably pretty normal. Declare wins the ace. They'll play a club, and we'll even have them guess right because South probably would have won the ace of clubs. Well, now we can get in, and now with South shoots through another diamond. Now it gets really bad really quickly. The best that Declare can do is with the club spots set up the way they are. From here, all the defense is going to get two clubs, their diamond and their spade. All the defense is going to get is two more diamond tricks. That's down three. I like when opponents use an unusual 2-no trump. I like to get on a doubling thread um, and double. In this case, with perfect defense, you get it 500 against your game. Let me go back to the auction. So that's what you'd like to do against an unusual 2-no trump. Doubles are all for penalty. Now, having said that, that's a little bit advanced. I think if I had one bid that I wanted to make over 2-no trump, it would be 3-no trump. And I certainly do not quarrel if North bid 3-no trump over 2-no trump. No quarrels whatsoever. The only downside is, yeah, we're going to be able to stop both of their suits, and we've got 26 high card. It's just that breaks might be bad. And if breaks are bad, we're going to have to scramble a little bit. But 3-no trump, that should end the auction. And 9 of diamonds, I like ducking here to communication. Declare has on top 2 diamonds, 1 club, 2 hearts, and 2 spades. That's only 6 tricks. When they play the king of spades, they see the queen drop doubles in. That's good news and bad news. The good news is, well, great, the queen dropped. The bad news is, spades aren't splitting very well. You can mess around a bit. You're going to end up having to sort of go after clubs yourself. And hopefully, if you do this, and you play another club, they win and they clear diamonds. So the defense is done about as well as they can. Actually, this hand's going to be in a little bit of trouble, but so are we. You're going to take the 10 of clubs, ace jack of spades, and you're going to get another heart. That's going to be 9 tricks. So if you bid through no trump and you played it well, you'll make 3. But the unusual 2-no trump should warn you off breaks. Frequently even though you have 26 high card, because they're such badly breaking hands, if you take 9 tricks and no trump, they're going to go down 3. And if you're only beating their doubled 3 of a minor 2 tricks, you might not have made 3-no trump. That's why stopping off to double them is frequently a rewarding action rather than just bidding 3-no trump. There's nothing wrong with just bidding 3-no trump. I'm just trying to give you an idea of what might be better. So that was your idea. That was the big point is negative doubles don't apply if the opponent is overcalled a unusual 2-no trump. Doubles are all penalty. And if they bid a 2-no trump and they're playing 3 of a minor, leading a trump is usually a good idea just to stop them roughing the other minor. That's a useful thing. But that's sort of advanced. If you want to stick with the first principles, let's lead sorry. I think if you started out by leading the, where am I? Get back. Come on. Double 3 diamonds. Pass. Double. Pass. if you started out by leading the King of Hearts, which is more than a reasonable lead, that's the standard lead. Now you can sort of see Declare can play a club to the Jack. They'll be able to ruff two clubs with their nine with a couple of diamonds. The trump lead was necessary to get rid of two of their trumps here. Um, if we started off with this way, Declare should only go down two, might even get out for down one if the defense errors. But the trump lead stops them from roughing clubs. That can be anticipated because of the nature of the 2-0 trumpet. So unusual 2-0 trump is a useful tool. It's unfortunately gives the opponent some advantages that it's relatively easy compared to other overcalls to get on a doubling trend and W, especially when you overcall 2-0 trump, but your partner ends up being 2-2 in the minors. It can get really ugly. And it does help the opponents playing when if they end up playing the hand, they have a far better idea of the distribution than they would if you'd passed or just overcalled diamonds. But having said that, for most people, the positives outweigh the negatives, and they use unusual 2-0 trump to describe both minors to their partner with one bit, and that helps you when you do have a good fit with the minors. It'll help you there. Any questions? Sorry, I've been rattling on for a while. Um, oh, Kathy, do you know the answer to that question? Where we find the documents we put in archives?
Yes, you go to acbl.org, which I'll
Okay,
put in here.
I'm just writing it down. So
And
acbl.org.
and then you can go down, there's a box and it says ACBL Community Games.
Yeah.
And if you click on that, then it's just one of the things
Oh,
listed there that you could go to, and it has what we have coming up on the schedule till the end of the year, the topics, and it
okay.
has the recordings, and you can click on any past recordings that we have on any topic. They're like YouTube recordings.
Yeah. Yeah. We're recording this now, just you know.
Well,
Yep, no problem. Thank you.
somebody wants to see board number 7.
Okay, just let me bring that one up. I have to get it. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't give that offer. If we'd like to go over any of the other hands, we can do that.
And next week, while you're getting that up, next Tuesday, we're going to be talking about declare play and unblocking, if you're curious.
Okay. That one. Okay, board number 7. Okay. So we just did, aside from the lesson hands, we're just dealing random deals. So I honestly haven't seen this before, but let me go through and see what I see. All right, South is an ugly hand, but no aces, 4 3 3, unsupported queens. There's a bunch of downsides. Or this is South hand, I'm sorry. But nonetheless, it's still 13 high card points. So we don't pass 13 counts. Um, so they open a diamond. The West hand says pass. North doesn't have very many options here. They don't have a major to bid. 3-0 Trump is okay. That's probably what I do at the table. But the I'm a little worried that my hearts are only Jack third. But I have 14. My partner has shown at least 12 with their opening bid. It's probably where we're going to end up. So I would choose just to bid 3-0 Trump. I'll give my other option in a sec. Um, pass, pass, pass. The other option is 2-0, two clubs. It's the only other forcing bid that I have available that describes my hand. I usually have 5 clubs for this bid, but I want to make sure that we've got stoppers in both majors. Pass. South has with they have 3 card supporting clubs, but they're very flat. They've got stoppers in the majors. They should bid 2-0 Trump and raise to 3. Um, so I was going to go over the play. Who do we want? Let's try it with South as the declarer first, and then I'll switch it around. And, I'll see what happens if North was the declarer. So on this one, 3-0 Trump. 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 3-0 We lead fourth best from our longest suit. Sorry, pass. So three of hearts is fairly normal. Nine of spades would be okay. It's sort of what we call a passive lead, but against three no trump, we want to try and set up our tricks. Uh, two, this isn't one you'd want to finesse against the jack. You don't want to play the nine of hearts here because declare could have king 10 X. We play the nine and they win the 10, and then later on they're going to win the king. That's two tricks for them. But if we play the ace, then we lead through the king 10 to partner's queen. So this one is one that you wanted to play third hand high. And you come back another one. Uh, doesn't really matter whether you duck or win. Because you have the ace of diamonds as an entry. If you had no entries, it's a very good idea to duck, just so partner has another one to lead when they get in. Now, they lead. They've got their heart trick. They're going to take four clubs. They're going to take their three spades. Eventually, they're going to have to play a diamond to set up their trick. They win and they cash the king of hearts. Fortunately, for a declarer's point of view, they're 4-3, and doesn't matter. And that's it. Now we can claim three. I'm not going to do that part, but they can make three no trump there. Um, all right, let me get all the way back. So let's see if North bid three no trump. That also should end the auction. East again should still try and lead fourth best from their longest suit. If this was a suit contract, you'd lead the jack of spades. You lead from two connecting honors against a suit contract because the goal is to set up your high card suit high card tricks in the suit. But against no trump, you really want to have three cards that are connected before you lead a sequence. So here you'd lead the two of spades. Now, from Declare's point of view, they start with four spades and three diamond and three. Sorry, once again, four clubs and three spades. They don't want to attack hearts because there's a danger that, as you can see, like how if Declare plays this heart suit, they're not going to take a heart trick. Um, if the defense leads the heart suit, they're going to have to set up a heart trick for Declare. So you want to win, but that's just the heart pertaining to the heart suit. Whatever our source of tricks outside of the top tricks in the black suit is diamonds. So you play a diamond to the king. Doesn't really matter. Let's say West ducks just to be tricky. But we cross back to our hand. We don't know where the ace of diamonds is. So we play another diamond. And that goes to the ace. It's unlikely that hearts are running on this auction. Let's have West just play a spade back. They might try a heart, hoping that their partner has ace, jack, X of hearts, and they can run the heart suit. But it's usually a good idea to just lead the suit your partner's led. Even if it doesn't work, it'll keep them happy, which is an important part of bridge. So nine of spades. We win the king. We'll cash our clubs. Yeah. Sorry. The East End has to make sure they hold on to their diamonds just because they need to give Declare a choice. Queen of spades. And then we play a diamond. I'm not willing to risk the contract by playing the nine. So I'm going to play the jack of diamonds. I'll take my ninth trick and then I'll run away. So those are the two auctions that I think should have happened. I think South should have opened and either North bids 3-0 or North bids two clubs. South bids 2-0 and North bids 3-0. It's sort of a luck of the draw whether there was a spade lead or a heart lead. On this hand, the West hand has longer hearts, so they lead a heart if they're on lead. The East hand has longer spades, so they lead a spade if they're on lead. The heart lead sets up the 13th heart for the defense, but at the cost of giving the declaring side a quick heart trick. Either way, I think it should be 3-no making 3. That's about all I can think to say about that one. And you did want, and on this hand, you wanted to play third hand high, but if you played the 9 of hearts, sorry, let me get all the way back. Get to the auction. Sorry, 2 clubs pass. 2, 3 no. Pass. One of the other problems by playing the 9 of hearts is when partner wins the ace of diamonds, they're not going to be sure where the ace of hearts is. So the defense can clearly cash out the heart suit if they know what's going on. But if the ace of hearts had been in declarer's hand, then a heart lead and the jack would win the trick. So the 9 of hearts is wrong. The ace of hearts makes life easier for the defense. So third hand high is right here, not only because it'll take a trick where it'll save a trick on some layouts, but it'll certainly make partners' life easier, knowing exactly what the heart suit is. Hopefully that answered the question on that one. Let me see if there's any chats. Okay. Oh, hang on. One new. Oh, you got it. Okay. Okay, folks. Thank you very much. I hope I see you on Tuesday. I hope you're enjoying the lectures, and have yourself a good weekend.
Thank you. This was great.
Great. Thank you. Stop recording. Okay.